Hello, viewers. My name is Portia, and I'm going to be taking you through another episode of Clean Food Crash Program. Now, this is a program where we talk about my nutritional behaviors, my dietary patterns, and my direct consequences. These are the impacts that they have on your health. So, today we're going to be looking at a topic here, vegetarianism. Now, I know, Kuti, we have had a lot of presentations on the issue of vegetarianism. Personally, I have, as an Adventist, being an Adventist, I have had a lot of these presentations on the health message, on the issue of gusaj and I want you to understand, Kuti, I am not here to discourage or condone the issue of vegetarianism. What we're going to do here is simply outline the merits and the demerits of a vegetarian diet, the merits and demerits of a non-vegetarian diet, so that when we make choices on which diet to adopt, we're well informed. And I also want us to understand, Kuti, the main objective of the dissipation of such information is not to scare us and to compel us to make decisions out of fear. No, the main objective is to equip us and to empower us so that we make more informed choices on which diet to adopt and the best diet for our health. Now, speaking from a health perspective, the issue of vegetarianism has been encouraged in a lot of sectors because number one, a vegetarian diet, right? It has no saturated fats. These are saturated fats that we find in meat. Vegetarian diet, it has the elimination of cholesterol and saturated fats, so it reduces the risk of heart diseases, akawanda, like hypertension, stroke. I'm not saying it eliminates, but it reduces. And it reduces the risk of most of my cancers. A vegetarian diet is also high in fiber, which is not found in my meat products. And it also has a lot of vitamins, minerals, my micronutrients, akawanda, my antioxidants. They are found in a vegetarian diet. So basically, in overall, a vegetarian diet is healthier and it also has an increased life expectancy. This has been proven by numerous studies. Most scientists, they can back up this claim that a vegetarian diet is so much healthier than a diet that includes meat. And moreover, besides my cardiovascular diseases and my cancers that are associated with the meat diet, we can also see that most of our foodborne illnesses come from the consumption of meat. Now, this might not apply to us as Zimbabweans because most of our meats are conventional, beef, chicken, sausage, fish, but there are other countries where they consume unconventional meats. For example, my birds, my snakes. If we look at COVID-19, for example, it came about because someone somewhere akajka a bird that was infected with the virus, and the virus spread all over the globe. If we look at the mad cow disease in the 1990s, that was because of consumption of infected beef products, and it became a global pandemic. We also have Ebola, avian flu, swine flu. This came because someone got into close contact with a bird or a pig that was infected, and the virus spread all over the globe. We also have trichinosis, which was basically a parasite in undercooked pork. So basically, these were some of the risks that were associated with unconventional. So if we're going to adopt a meat-eating diet. Let us eat nyama within the confines of what God allowed us to eat. And we have these in Leviticus 11. The whole chapter basically tells us of nyama dzatinokwanisa kudya nedzatisingakwanisi kudya. That verse is specifically for health reasons. Saka, let us stay within the scope of what? Of the meats that God allowed us to eat. Semunhu akambonzwawo health message a lot of times. I have realized that there are a lot of benefits with adopting a vegetarian diet. Like vegetarianism has a lot of health benefits. However, if we're to look at it at a different perspective, we might notice that they do not understand fully the issue of vegetarianism, so they end up falling into a category yavanhu vanoita deficiencies for certain macro and micronutrients. So we're going to look at some of these deficiencies and how we can adopt a vegetarian diet without having these deficiencies. So the first one that we have is a protein deficiency. Most people who adopt vegetarianism, they forget to add protein to their diet. So if we're going to eliminate meat, if we're going to eliminate my dairy products, we need to take cognizance of protein intake here. So a diet that has no protein, it is dangerous because it can weaken your immune system. So this makes you prone to a lot of diseases. It reduces bone density, it causes osteoporosis. In children, it causes growth and development issues. And it can also cause fluid retention. Kuti ukaita maronda hapori very fast if you are adopting a vegetarian diet is not protein. So it's important kuti if we're adopting vegetarianism, let us supplement our protein, and we have our non-meat protein sources like my legumes, my beans, my peas, my chickpeas, my lentils, my chunks. The list is endless of my protein sources that we can adopt into our diet. So if you're going to adopt a vegetarian diet, please make sure kuti you are not lacking in your protein intake. So, munhu arikuita adopt a vegetarian diet can also encounter iron deficiency, which can lead to anemia. This is because iron from plant sources is not easily absorbed into the body as much as iron from the animals. We also have a calcium deficiency. This one is experienced by vanhu vanenge eliminate milk and milk products in their diet. So if you have a calcium deficiency, you can also experience osteoporosis, kuti mabonzo, they become weak, they lose their density, they can easily break or fracture, and you can also have an abnormal cardiac rhythm. So it's important kuti when you are adopting a diet without milk and milk products, you also find my other supplementations for calcium, so that you do not experience these deficiencies. Now, when you prematurely adopt a vegetarian diet, right, you can encounter a lot of micronutrient deficiencies, for example, zinc, selenium, but today in specific we want to look at vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin that is found mostly in meat and dairy products. Vitamin B12 is a very important micronutrient in our body because it has a lot of vital functions. Functions akawanda are very important in our body. So it is important to vitamin B12 in our body. Now, some of the major roles that are played by vitamin B12 in our body, number one, it metabolizes the fatty acids and the amino acids, so it is essential for energy production. It also forms the myelin sheath around nervous system yedu. So it is very important for nervous function. Very important for nervous function. Vitamin B12 also produces my red blood cells in our body. So my red blood cells these are the ones that carry oxygen from one place to another. So it is very important for us to have this vitamin in our body. It also makes up genetic material yedu, which is the DNA. It's responsible for DNA synthesis. So basically, the list is quite endless. Here are my functions of vitamin B12, but I've decided to name those 4 specifically for our presentation. So my deficiencies of vitamin B12, they cause a lot of changes to our body, which can range from mild to severe. And to severe, I mean life-threatening. So you can experience my electrolyte imbalances, you can have diarrhea, you can have dehydration. These are just a few of my changes that you can start noticing when you have a deficiency of vitamin B12 in your body. Now, for the serious consequences of vitamin B12, it can cause yet pernicious anemia. So, isn't we mentioned vitamin B12? It helps the production of red blood cells. But manje kana tine vitamin B12 deficiency, it is serious. We can have our body not producing enough red blood cells. So it means we do not have enough transport for oxygen in our body. So when we do not have enough oxygen, this can lead to shortness of breath, it can lead to tiredness and weakness. I've also mentioned our vitamin B12 is important for making the myelin sheath that protects nervous system. So if we do not have it in sufficient amounts, then we can face my neurological problems. We can have my permanent nerve damages, and in very severe cases, a person can actually be paralyzed. So it's very important to check for vitamin B12, to supplement, and we should seek treatment in time. Another risk factor that is associated near the deficiency of vitamin B12 is the impaired immune system function. So kana immune system yedu iri weak, then we can be prone to a lot of respiratory infections, for example pneumonia, just to name a few. So it's really important to keep our vitamin B12 in check. We also have what we call a megaloblastic crisis. Now, this crisis happens when the body starts producing red blood cells are abnormal. They could be abnormal in shape, they could be abnormal in size. Whatever the abnormality, it means they can no longer carry out their function. You could transport oxygen to my tissues and my organs. So we can experience my life-threatening conditions like organ failures. Your kidneys can fail, your lungs can fail. So when I say vitamin B12 is a lethal and life-threatening condition, I really mean it. It's really life-threatening. So it is very important when we adopt the issue of vegetarianism. Number 1, we adopt it with caution. We should be very cautious. Toti wanswa health message yedu yati we should adopt a vegetarian diet, and you have been convinced, you have been converted, and you want to adopt a vegetarian diet. Are there ways that we can supplement for this B12 and my other, micronutrients, so that we do not encounter my life-threatening conditions, so that we still maintain our health as we adopt this vegetarian diet? It is important for us to consider the issue of supplementation. of vitamin B12. Specifically, in this presentation, we're mostly focused on vitamin B12. So we're going to talk about supplementation for vitamin B12 in specific. So we have my over-the-counter supplements. You can just walk into a pharmacy, you tell the pharmacist you want to adopt a vegetarian diet, but you also want to supplement your vitamin B12. So they will give you a wide range of vitamin B12 supplements that you can use. The dosages, how to take it, and whatnot. So we have my over-the-counter vitamin B12 supplements that you can buy. We also have my non-meat food products that are fortified with vitamin B12. For example, we have my meat substitutes, my vegetarian burgers, my vegetarian sausages, my vegetarian nuggets, my chunky strips. There's a lot these days on the market. They are fortifying them with vitamin B12. We also have my cereals, we have my yogurts, we have my drinks, we have milks like soya milk, coconut milk. These are fortified with vitamin B12. Now, I want us to understand, Kuti, my food products that are fortified with vitamin B12, they are labeled Kuti fortified with vitamin B12. Saga, if a food product is not labeled, do not, for any reason, think that it's fortified. Because even if you check the nutritional table, they will actually have the vitamin B12 and the quantity of the nutrient in that particular food product. So my food products that are from the industry are labeled with vitamin B12 fortified. So if it's not plastic, do not assume it's fortified with vitamin B12, because people actually consciously fortify foods. It's a very important micronutrient. So if someone takes the liberty of fortifying their food product with that particular vitamin, trust me, they will tell you. Saga, if it's not written fortified with vitamin B12, then it's not. Saga, if we're looking into supplementing our vitamin B12, then we need to check out for these food products. Fortified with what? With vitamin B12. Now, for our natural foods, and vitamin B12, we have mushrooms, we have seaweed, but not all mushrooms and seaweed have vitamin B12. For mushrooms, we specifically have the oysters, and per seaweed, we have the nori and the wakame seaweed. So we have to take note, Kuti, not all mushroom or all seaweed have vitamin B12. So when we're supplementing our vitamin B12, we need to be very careful and we need to be very cognizant. Now, if we're going to be completely honest, vitamin B12 supplementation, it can be a bit expensive because most of these things are not readily available. And, even if for streamers such as really readily available, so locally available, you will also need variety. So, it's very important, Kuti, when we make the decision to adopt a vegetarian diet, we make sure, Kuti, we have this vitamin B12 supplementation in place, because it is a very dangerous thing to adopt a vegetarian diet without considering how to supplement for all these other micronutrients that are not provided for in a vegetarian diet. Now, besides the supplementation of the vitamin, we might also encounter problems with the absorption of the vitamin. People with certain conditions can encounter malabsorption of the vitamin. This is because not your intrinsic factor. So intrinsic factor is what helps you to harness the vitamin B12 from the food that you eat. So it is very necessary for us to have this intrinsic factor, because if we have it in small quantities or if we do not have it at all, then it means kuti the absorption of vitamin B12 inenge iri impaired. So it means kuti we can have the food that is rich in vitamin B12, but our body cannot absorb it. So some of the conditions anoita kuti uve an impairment in the intrinsic factor diseases that can affect your gut and your gastrointestinal tract. So for example, we have Crohn's disease, we have celiac disease, we have ulcers, nema acids, we have gastric bypass, or any surgery wakamboitwa in your GIT tract, and it can impair your intrinsic factor. So for people with such conditions, and it's important that they also check for my vitamin B levels. And also there are certain medications that can affect the absorption of your vitamin B12. For example, metformin, antibiotics, prolonged use of antibiotics, proton pump inhibitors. These are some of the medications that can affect the absorption of your vitamin B12. So people who are diabetic, people with HIV, people with thyroid diseases, thyroid disorders, so they can have an impairment in their vitamin B12. So it's important if you have any of these conditions, you constantly check your vitamin B12 levels, you consult with your doctors and your medical team, and you make sure your vitamin B12 is always in check. In conclusion, if we have decided to adopt a vegetarian diet, let us be aware of micronutrient deficiencies that we might encounter and how to cater for these deficiencies. Let us be aware of my food sources that are not from meat products or meat sources that we can use to supplement some of my nutrients that are essential that we find in meat. So it's important for us to, approach the issue of vegetarianism with caution. And also, before you make the decision of adopting a vegetarian diet, please consult with your doctors, consult with your healthcare team. Kuti iwewe as an individual, are you fit to adopt this diet? Because you can adopt a diet that is not good for your health, and in the long run it can be detrimental to you. Vegetarianism is a very good thing, but for other people who did not approach it with caution, it proved to be a death sentence. So it is important when we approach vegetarianism, we approach it with caution, number one. Number two, we consult with the right medical practitioners, vanotipa the advice that is best for our health. And as we conclude the week, I wish you all good health. Ndokushuvira mese kuti muve neutano hwakanaka, and please do enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.